Hey guys. Okay, I was having some. I didn't know if that was working or not. Okay, it is. I'm on. Cool. Hey everybody. Listen, I want to say a couple things right off. I want to say thank you for coming here to watch these videos. I don't know who's watching them, but I realized before I started talking today that, like, I try to read these YouTube tips to figure out how to get people to pay attention to what I'm saying, but it's really gonna come down to what's in your soul and what you're looking for and what you want to hear. Mm-hmm. And I can't please everybody with the words that I'm saying. So tonight I'm going to be talking about more about exactly what happened to me. And the reason that I labeled the video The Shrink in Beverly Hills is because I'm going to try to allow myself to go to a place in my mind where the things that I went through and I journeyed through, and I really want to share them with you guys, and maybe it would help you to understand why I am so ultra confident about the things that I say, even though if I'm giggly and I'm sarcastic through them, I have to find a way to let you know how deeply the things that happened to me, how deep they were. Moreover, I asked myself my ultimate goal. Most people that go on YouTube, I think they want to be famous or something. And I don't think maybe their hearts don't palpitate as fast, because this is really nerve-wracking, coming on here and bearing your soul with people, leaving yourself open to nitpicking and things, but then I always remind myself that I have a very important story to tell for the Creator and for all of humanity. Even though that sounds really bold and really big, it's true. It's like having a big old treasure and being Scrooge McDuck. I'm not going to be Scrooge McDuck with the information that I have. No, it's not going to be Ghosts of Christmas Past over here. I'm going to tell you guys now. And you might not recognize the things I'm telling you. Like I always say, tomorrow, next week, Halloween, New Year's Eve, but you're going to experience them. And I have confidence in that. I know now that the time difference between, passing away and having visions and things like that, it's just, I'm not able to communicate that accurately to you guys. So I'm going to probably try to quit doing that. Anyway, what I wanted to do, and when I wrote down, you guys, was, well, first, let me show you something real quick. I know you usually see some of my space. This is a basement that I'm in over here. I call it my bat cave. And these are just some of the things I keep on the wall. I know there's a lot of glare. This is one area of my desk, but let me spin the other way. These are all books, and they're all quite organized. I know where everything's at. I know it might not always look that, but you know how people's desks are. So all of those books back there, they're all broke down into all the things that have happened over since the spring of 2020. So, why do I post these videos on Prince's websites? Well, if you have watched any of the other videos, you'll know it's because when I passed, I met him, started talking to me, and then ultimately I can hear from him as well as feel him in a telepathic, I don't know what kind of way, but it's true. You can call it whatever you want. Call it being possessed, call it being a witch, call it transcendence, call it, I don't know. But I can hear and feel him, and that's the aspect that I'm coming from. I didn't know this until the spring of 2020 and recently, but Anyway, that's why I post on the websites, because the things that were disclosed to me, I feel would best resonate with people who were heavy listeners, people who know the lyrics and had that intense love, you know what I mean, for him through the music and through the knowledge of knowing, the layers of the music and not just turning on the radio and hoping to hear. Anyway, calling up the shrink in Beverly Hills, you guys. This book is, I crumpled my pages. Waking in the spring of 2020 was like, you know how you've read about maybe people who have passed away and they come back and they're able to play piano or speak a different language or something like that? Well, I think I was doing some of those things and just didn't realize it. So the things that I say are true and they're well documented. I'm always trying to go between showing you guys things to prove it to you and just talk to you. Since I don't get very much feedback on these videos, it's hard to know what you want to hear. Anyway, the majority of this is because when he would tell me things when this started. I would write down the lyrics to a song, and then the lyrics would break down and spell completely, talk about spraying UFOs and spraying Elohim and angels that could read backwards gematria. That's what the Prince lyrics themselves would turn into. There would be drawings. Like, I can't show you guys all that stuff and do that. So I'm going to bounce back to the shrink in Beverly Hills because I did some really strange things that I wouldn't tell anybody else. Because I know myself. I know I'm an intelligent, thinking, God-fearing, loving woman, and know thyself. And when I started experiencing all these heavy-duty things, it was like being put to sleep. And the Bible says that Adam was put to sleep and they took his rib, It was like I was put to sleep in like March of 2020. And I woke up and all of a sudden I could read various bits of Hebrew. I was reading the Beautiful One's book. While I was reading the Beautiful One's book, the pictures in it, which are in that journal also, were disclosing to me that, I'm just going to say Prince, disclosed himself to me as an alien. And he said that he was like the second of his race, if I'm not mistaken. And that's why they refer to him as the egg also, because he was like, even though I sit here and say he's the creator, and then I say that he was controlled, I want you guys to understand that I know that sounds contradictory, but this is what I want you to think about. If you've been able to wrap your mind around the fact that, say you were, say you're a Christian and you think of Jesus, or I don't really know much about other religions, but not only, I think people say that that's God in flesh or whatever like that, but he was able to portray himself to us as exactly what he wanted to portray himself as, whilst at the same time sustaining the whole, everything is in the universe. And that goes back to sky people and Anunnaki and angels and ancient beings that people, some reason, refuse to believe exist. But that's what our forefathers were. That's what the first 5 books of the Bible talk about. That's the Anunnaki, it's all there if you look. I'm wandering. I'm going to get back on track. When I fell asleep and woke up and I started playing the keyboard and learning how to play Purple Rain and reading bits of Hebrew, watching YouTube videos, learning about SCP aliens, you have to look that up, SCP. It's played off on YouTube as a video game, but will actually tell you a great deal about aliens being right under our noses, yet being hidden from us as if they're a reality video game. Pardon me. They even have aliens on there called Cain and Abel, and it gets really detailed. You guys got to check it out. Like I said, I have this urge to show you all the pictures and documentation that I have, but I'm limited in my technology skill and ability to share that all with you without huge amounts of glare. SCP. Check it out, you guys. It's not a video game. Anyway, when I woke up reading Hebrew and playing Purple Rain and hearing and seeing Prince lyrics turn into things about angels reading gematria and seeing my name turn into a biblical name and seeing all the numerics of my son's birthday and mine especially, all these things coming to be about my family lineage, the backwards upside down Da Vinci writing being shown to me how to read in Prince lyrics. While all of those things were happening, you know, I've said before, I wasn't sleeping from about probably, I would say April 1st to May, the mid-May. I don't even know if I left my house or went outside. That's when I went into like starvation mode and only did all these things and had all these things happen to me. And it's my possession time is what I refer to it. It was like something just landed on me. I even wrote in my little secret notebook. I turned right to the page. Imagine that. I was talking about his breath in my ear, and it says, my little notebook, it tickles my ears, especially my right one, like a switch. If you sat the music, oh, hold on, will flow. So the voice will flow so very strongly and sexy and hot that I can feel it breathing on my neck right now. I would take notes like that. And you got to know that I questioned my sanity. Okay. I questioned my girly my quash, taking all the cool out of my silly message. Okay. So I'm wondering, you guys, because the stuff that I have to say as usual is hard to say. Little maps that I drew, in my mind, like during that 40 days, he was there telling me about how he had been reincarnated and how he was like all things. Like, you know, when I say sustaining the universe, I mean sustaining the universe, because like he showed himself to me as a fish. I have YouTube notes about showed me all these things about Asia. So I watched this one YouTube video about this cuttlefish, Cuddle, this cuttlefish, and this song, and they sang, and I actually drew a picture of it. But my point is this, you know, if I came back as a dolphin, would you listen to me then? It was like that. It was like he was telling me and showing me that I'm all these things, that I'm not just this Prince image that was sold, that I am all these other things. And so it was like I was put under this hypnosis, and he just disclosed all these things to me, and I was cool with it, because why wouldn't I be? Why wouldn't you be? Anyway, lots of things, you guys. Like I said, maps. When I was sleeping, I was listening to the musicology CD. I would have headphones on, and I drew maps. I think my cuttlefish is in the other book. I would sit down. I want to share something with you guys. Here, just let me real quick. I know I'm bouncing around a little bit today, but like I said the other day, I gotta quit apologizing for that, because it's bound to happen. All right. So what I was doing was going through the Beautiful Ones book. I was reading it at the same time that all this other stuff was happening. Like I said, I never slept. I go through and I take notes about, for instance, here's something. In the book, it says that Bremer Bank provided food for them because they took care of Prince's dietary restrictions. That's what it says in the book. I'm sorry, I don't have that page noted. Because as it was written, he said that Bramer Bank brought in lunches. They were touring to get the pages and everything because they took care of the dietary restrictions. Well, if that's in there, then I always wonder why Ray Roberts, was brought in, and he actually, I know off subject here, you guys had the Suboxone prescription as well. But anyway, I was taking notes. That wasn't where I meant to go with that. All through the book. Sorry, I'm always popping stuff up on my screen. I need to move the mouse. All right. So, like on page 78, for instance, I was reading The Beautiful One's book, and you have to imagine, I'm asking you to imagine, I would be put into a trance, sort of, when I was looking at the pages, and I was like, something isn't right. And these are the notes that I took, and I haven't looked at them since then, so bear with me. Page 78, if you have the book, it says baby pic. Mom is connected to the crib near her left hip. The crib is draped in a funny way so as not to depict serpent osmosis. Black pillow under Prince is actually a fin. It props him up and it appears shadowy and murky on the crib rails. And then I put electricity, ? Down the length of the crib to the bow on the other end. And then I took a note that it says in the mother's breast area, it resembled Wall-E face, which to me means the one, there's like a robot eye and a robot eye. It's like an alien, Wall-E, Wall-E, the song Wall-E. So that's what I meant to myself. Anyway, there's notes on there that all through there, like, look, you guys, I was looking at the collar of the shirt of the dad, and it started showing me MK Ultra, as I talk about in the other videos, as well as jack-o'-lantern. Now, I just have to say thank you, because this is coming up on Halloween, and it's kind of not a coincidence to be seeing the little depiction that I made of the jack-o'-lantern there. So, what is your point, crazy lady? Well, my point is that even through the Beautiful One's book, page 83, it says, I wrote straight up space rock, that it appears like serpenty under the log. This must be by little baby Prince's feet. Straight up on I called it, because in the background of where he's sitting by a log, it looks like something from outer space. And then it looked like serpent legs or feet and then it talks about all the shadows. And then his left arm holding the staff is in a striped short sleeve shirt. The rest of the outfit is white and morphine, matching the other leg, because what looks like a white angel wing and a black stubby fin arm are on his other side. Is it his Gemini shadow self? Knees are at a very odd angle. They don't look like legs. So as I was going through the book and I was taking notes like that with all the other things that I've talked about in all the other videos, believe me, I asked myself why. And again, in the title, I didn't call a shrink. I called the creator himself, because I was like, I got to know that what's happening to me, that I'm not crazy. And the more I accept what I can hear, like I say, the more I get, because it's not crazy. It's just an ability that I guess I've had since I was a kid, and I just didn't know it. So, all through the book, it kept showing me, especially the one picture where he's sitting on the bed playing the guitar. And it always reminded me of what was showed us as the Jesus shroud. So him being on that bed, it looked like his arm was morphing into the guitar and was more like a fin. And I don't have the notes with me, but that's what some of them look like. And I took notes, like I said, and they're all in here. I could sit and read them, you guys, but then I couldn't look at you and tell you these crazy things. If I was going to accept them while I was hearing them in 2020, like, I was in the bathtub one time and I thought that I wanted to be like a fish, and I tried to breathe underwater. It was like I wasn't myself. It was like something else had control of me. It wasn't trying to hurt me or anything like that. It was just a funny little thing that I still giggle about, because one of the crazy notes that I left was that when I died is what it felt like was being floating in water, like just the most comfortable temperature, probably amniotic type temperature, in water, and just being with your creator and being loved. And that's what I felt like when all of these things were happening to me, was that I was in that mind space. So I was able to accept them. I knew that I wasn't crazy and that I wasn't losing my mind. Okay. So then when all the things that I was doing started telling me about Tesla and famous mathematicians and space and how not real cinematics are, and hermetically sealed movie sets and hermetically sealed anythings. This girl did not think about these things before that. Trust and believe. Here's some more. Hold on, I took some more notes. Let me jog my memory. On April 6th, in fact, you guys, if you watch the other videos, you know I talked about when he told me that they were going to go to my daughter's job and take her DNA, and they did. Another one of the things that happened is on April 6th, there was articles out in the news talking about respirators. Do you remember how when the came on us, the demic, they were talking about they needed respirators? Well, there was this article out that showed me that they were $13,000 each, and it used the word respirators. And I went the very next day to post it on Facebook, and they had changed the word respirator to the word breathing apparatus. What I mean to say is that was the beginning of things being shown to me that had led me to believe about, possible, war type things and underground breathing and people taking cover underground and needing lots of breathing apparatuses, along with the things that I was hearing about space and Tesla and mathematicians and Kabbalah and just everything all at once, you guys. It was like, if you ever go and watch the movie Lucy, it was like somebody just plugged something in, and still does sometimes, and just teaches me all kinds of things. And I'm trying to tell them to you, but as usual, it's coming out like probably not very good. Anyway, I have these pictures, you guys, of me where, like, I showed them on my other video, I think, where you can tell that I haven't been sleeping. I was doing these things, and people say, well, you probably lost your mind, and they can say whatever they want. I prayed, I cried, I was on my face, I wrote prayers, I wrote actual love letters to the creator. I didn't know that I was, I knew that I was hearing from somebody. Now, I knew it was either God or like aliens. That's what I thought in the spring of 2020 when all of this stuff started happening to me. It didn't quite click when I was hearing all the Prince lyrics and stuff like that it was him talking to me. I still didn't know. I thought that it was just how I heard, you know what I mean? Or something like that. The only reason, again, I know now is because now I can remember all the things that happened when I passed away that we talked about. So now I can put all those things that I was hearing and doing and thinking and reading with the memory of everything that happened when I passed, and I can put them all together. And this video isn't going to be for everybody. Probably be for people that have seen the other ones. But what I want to get to is by April 15th of 2020, in this possession slumber type place that I was in the water, feeling like I was sleeping, I was writing letters saying, don't cry for me. I'm not dying for no reason. It was as if Elizabeth Pry did not exist anymore, that I had accepted my death in a way, because I remember saying in one of them, if I go tonight, it doesn't matter, because I would give anything to be in that place again. And he showed me. And so I'm perfectly comfortable with my death, and people should be, but they should also have a relationship with their creator so that they can be comfortable with that. Let me just say I'm sorry if you've lost anybody recently or continue to struggle with anything, because I don't take it lightly. You know, I've lost many, but there's goodness on the other side for good souls that are ready to hear the truth and ready to correct those souls and not be frightened. So anyway, by April 15th, he was showing me things about Asia. We were learning about the letter X, Pearl Harbor, TV, and how it's been used for programming throughout the years. You know, television, skagazines, you know. Around April 17th, I can tell this from my notes and also from because like I always say, I took a really good screenshot history of what was going on, just because, you know, you don't do something like that and not document it, I guess. But he started like whispering to me to look at the investigation, and you know, started printing it and reading it and doing all that at the same time too. And that's when it was disclosed to me that I believe I have notes here that during the shutdown, that missing persons law in Minnesota was changed to reflect 4-year change. He was telling me about geolocation maps being changed and making people and things much easier to track. On April 22nd, you guys, I was literally, this is interesting but true, embarrassing and weird but true. And again, I'm going to tell the truth because it'll matter someday. On April 22nd, there's a great video of me, and I call it Looking for Yellow Gold. There's a song Yellow Gold on I believe, Andy Allo CD. And this is what I heard, you guys. I'm not saying it's true. This is what that place told me, was that I was reading this biblical scripture, I forgot which one, that said something about finding your brethren by the corner or something and taking them home, but leaving the little ones for the something else. I'm not sure. Again, like I said, I don't do scripture like that. But the rain that I talk about and the thunderstorm in the spring of 2020 in Michigan was very heavy. It was very electronic. It was hard to breathe while you were outside. People came running home from the park with their heads covered with shirts and stuff. It was as if something was being released into the air. You know, chemtrails are one thing, but in Lansing, Michigan, I can speak for. I lived by the border water and light by Moores River Park. And at that time, the rain was something else. It was something to behold. And what it was doing was leaving like bubbles. Like if you take a contact lens out of someone's eye and you put it on a piece of grass, that's what my videos will show you, was that weird kind of, they were bubbles. It's trippy. You have to check it out. But also, this is where you got to call up a shrink in Beverly Hills. The voice, the whisperings, and were telling me that like Lucifer eggs were being dropped down onto the grass and the soil, and we're going to grow and make the earth funky and weird and dead. And like I said, the spring of 2020 was ultra gray, and it was as if the animals were all scrawny and weird, and it was like very strange. Everything was very strange. So there was a lot going on, you guys. By April, okay, no. So then there was the Grammys in 2020. There was the Grammys with Remembrance for Prince with the John Legend. I was watching that, and the notes that I took was that John Legend had on this V-neck like suit with no shirt, and his V-neck told me to take notes about the point. Oh, I moved stuff around, about the pointy part in the tree of life, past the number 4, the dalet, where it comes down to a point. It told me to take notes about that, and that's what it showed me was, again, these are the connections that I made and that I took, and they're all gonna make sense eventually. Maybe not today. By April 23rd, he was showing me that by showing me, I mean that I don't watch TV, but I would be on YouTube and online and on my phone and with headphones and doing everything at once. He would show me things about Maui. And we started seeing Maui first. He would show me things about clones, that they would take an advertisement and it would show like a wanted couple who had broken Maui laws when they got there, like the COVID laws or whatever, and they would be arrested. But they would show little pictures of these people, and it would be the same person depicted as a man and a woman. I do have documentation of this, and I mean every word that I'm saying. These are the things that he showed me. And I think that the reason that that's being done, you guys, and this is really deep, is because I always talk about the elite. I believe that some people won't be surprised that they know that there are Illuminati types out there that raise their children as the opposite sex, to inflict lots of things. But my point is, I think that with the very creator being of perfect creation, neither man or woman, that's their way of accepting themselves as that way or disclosing themselves as that way. Who are themselves? Aliens, you guys. It's just like the Men in Black movie. They live among us. They're advertised to us all the time in like, okay, Facebook memes, for instance. Anything that you look at. There was a news story not too long ago that there was some ferries sinking. I'm not sure where. When you go and you look at those kind of things, you if you have a rational thinking mind, you have got to be able to look at these things and see that they are nothing more than staged cinema at this point. I'm not saying bad things don't happen in the world. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there's no limit to which the evil will go to stage things and make things happen in doing their dirt and their deed for their needs. As we go on, you'll start to see that. So anyway, when you see staged events like that, what I want you to do, please, is to anywhere there's like a pop of color, like a safety vest or like cones or big old Home Depot orange buckets or a pop of blue out of nowhere and stuff like that, they're usually hiding in plain sight these techniques that they're starting to use in the media in a propaganda sort of way to disclose like alien life, to maybe be able to say, hey, it was there all the time, we showed you. But again, this is what was told to me and I'm telling it to you. I'm not afraid of the repercussions of the laughter. She's crazy, but she's not. Just a little. Anyway, I was watching on 424. There's the Earl's Court NPG concert that was done during the night that I watched that concert. Okay, I took notes here, and this is what was told to me. Is, let me say this the right way. When you watch The Passion of the Christ, for instance, and you see the abuse that Christ took, and your heart palpitates and you hurt and you want to help and you want to be a better person and those type of things, those things are absolutely nothing compared to what has been endured for us to come to this point, and for me to tell you these crazy things, the things that he's endured at the hands of the slave masters and the contractual otherworldly duties. It is anyway, the Earl's Court concert video told me that night, he told me that he, I'm not sure how, you guys, I'm going to quit trying to pretend I remember it all because I don't, but he would tell me that somehow, some way, his body was be able to be like taken over, like by, evil people, because of the contracts, and that they would just go about doing wild and bad things whilst using his person. I don't know if some of you guys know what I'm talking about when, for instance, those weird Luciferians and strange people go off in Colorado and the different places, and they do things in the tall redwood, the forests, and the worshiping and the things that they do over there. Well, they do those because they feel they have connection with a certain power that would bring them to certain ecstasies. But again, I digress because I hate to talk about things like that, but they do exist, you guys. And there's a power that has to be given to them, which is still ultimately being controlled. But when you're a man of your word and a soul of your word, well, then that's what you are. So anyway, he went on to tell me that his soul could be used that way, and then related it to the holograms and the Antichrist situation that I'm always talking about. So that was in April of 2020. All through May, I took notes here that said that this is really important because I don't know what country it is. India, maybe, I'm not sure. Wherever they celebrate Ramadan or something like that. I was shown a myriad, just huge amounts. I have a huge amount of screenshots where it appears that the whole city is wired for explosives. I was shown this crazy wiring and told about plans for New Year's Eve to blow up the creator himself. These are the notes that I took using holograms. I wrote down cannibalism space ETs. Yes, I know. By May 2nd, I was pretty kind of paranoid. And I have pictures on my Facebook, you guys, that my neighbor was having their lawn mowed by a professional service. And I took pictures out the window because I was like paranoid. I thought that the mowers were going to do something weird or whatever. I wasn't scared. I was just paranoid, and I took pictures of them. So I do remember being paranoid. It's not like I was like, hey, these things are like nothing and just did them all. No, that's not how it went down. This was like research and life itself. And you guys, I want to say something. The last couple of videos I've watched, my eyebrows are giving me just a time. They won't grow in properly. So today I decided to skip the makeup and wear a hat. So I have to apologize for my sometimes one eyebrow being darker than the other one, all that crazy stuff, because anyway, I was paranoid. Then in May, he went on to tell me how golf courses are used, obviously for the ultra elite, but how they do things actually with the golf balls on golf courses to create pictures from space. That's what I wrote down. Isn't that fun? This goes on and on and on, you guys. I went on to I read this book. It was called Nature Writing. I don't know who it was by. And while I was reading the book, it was talking about DNA and creation and this and that. And while I was reading it, it was like I was holding the book in one hand, and this other hand I was writing what the book was saying, but like a ton of other stuff to go with it. And it was just, it basically told me about the Psycho Apps program that was on us all, and how people probably find it hard to believe. I mean, I was in heaven. I had the luxury of being in heaven when I was told that there was a plan, and I was being told it by the Creator. So I knew it wasn't a lie, and I knew it was authentic. And now I remember it, so I have to tell it to you guys. I always set out with all these high hopes to do so much more than I feel like I'm doing. I had made it 49, 50 years, and I myself wondered why Alice in Wonderland was so weird. Okay, now I know Alice is in numerics. It's in some of the Hebrew numerics I spell out, but it's A lies. It goes with Aleister Crowley. It goes A upside down writing. It's lies. It's like a house of cards, like a house of lies. It's not because, hey, everybody did acid and let's laugh and figure out why the book goes in circles. It's just to depict the creation of time and how crazy it is, and how there's a bit of evil and control, but ultimately the Creator just laughs at them because they're losers. But I guess even losers deserve a little bit of love until they don't. But why, again, you guys, I'm willing to come here and tell you these things that will make me a laughing stock is because, for one, I don't have any friends anymore. I don't care. I don't have anything to lose. And again, I'm here to share the wealth. And if you want to listen, you listen. If you don't, you don't. If you know anybody who might, forward the videos, please. He told me of all these things because it was like, if you ever watch Mr. Peabody and Sherman movie, um, time like unravels, when they go to all the different, time, places, and he explains the situations and whatever. It was like that. I can relate a lot of what happened to like a lot of different movies, even though I don't watch them. I watched them, used to. Um, it's like that all the time was like unraveled, and I've been able to like see it all at once, connect with him through the telepathy, through the visions. I've seen things in the sky, you guys. I have pictures on my phone. Again, you have to go and watch the other videos where you can see the paranormal things happening with me. Um, uh, I was told, or I'm being told now, that one of the reasons I wanted to come and say these things, also, no matter how crazy they sound, is because when these things start happening, and they will, it's going to come out that Prince is, powerful in one way or another. I'm not sure how it's going to go down, or the Antichrist whole thing exactly. I can only say what I know. But once it comes out, the things that I'm sharing, I'm being told that other people are going to start to say the same things that I'm saying. Um, and again, I'm not one for competition, but it just is forcing me to have to tell the truth, even though my heart is beating a million miles a minute. It forces me to say that, things like when I passed away, for instance, I had a person tell me today or yesterday, I'm not sure, "It is written that no man has seen the face of God." That's what he said. And I thought for a minute, well, did you remember about Moses? But I didn't say that out loud. Um, I have. And you guys have too. Only it's not his face. It was just an image of a face. Watch Game of Thrones, you'll see all the faces. That's a good one. Um, you guys, this secret has been held for so long because nobody has been, I guess, found fit to bring it. Or I just want to tell the truth, no matter how uncomfortable. And when I said earlier that it was like he's the second in line, he was like an egg. Like, he told me that he is the atom, the atom of the Adam and Eve. He's all of these things. And it was told to me through the music lyrics and through the Hebrew and through these situations with Maui and through the cloning, that because the creator is absolutely everything, it's like this existence in Maui that I'm always mentioning, you guys, where I went in 2019 for 2 weeks and stayed at Wailea Beach Resort. I came out of the ocean healed. There's a lot of energy there, and there's a reason that Maui and Hawaii as a whole is advertised as like, come here and have all these happenings and take the road to Hana and do this, and people have real experiences. It's real. But there's also a reason that you can't take rocks or sand or pretty much anything off the island. And they tell you it's because of these ancient mythologies about dragon ancient dragon being with his woman, and these things happening, and the dragon turning into the land, and the woman being stolen. And it's all just like sounding like another version of Adam and Eve and these different kind of things. But in the world, those things are always written off as mythologies. But what was told to me is that he was like part of the land. Like he is, like he's trees, he's squirrels, he's us, he's your everything. And so knowing that, don't you want to be your very best self? I do, and that's why I'm willing to come here and share these things with you, no matter how crazy they sound, because maybe it'll prompt you to accept your own craziness, maybe. Anyway, I wandered again, you guys. Sorry. I know I hid my entire face, right? Nobody was brave enough to tell this weird ass information, except for me, I guess. But you know why, you guys? Because it relates to my family. When I died, I was shown a great many things, and they don't all make you giggle. I was shown that the world and the creator was sick of us bad boys and girls, people misbehaving, raping, stealing, all the horrible things, trafficking, all the things that exist, and wanted to end the world. And then he told me about the Bible being a lie, and about the hall, the JW Hall, and the Vatican, and the fact that real legions are all ran by big corporation organization, NWO, Illuminati type stuff. He told me all that, and that religion was purposely sold to us on the same level with the 1776 Declaration of Independence as a storyline for our generation, which is 10 years away from 1776. So watch the other videos, you'll get it. When he told me about all that lie, he was very hesitant to tell it all to me, because he knew it would make me very, very responsible, and that it hurts very much right now, very much to the point where I want to retch in my stomach. Some people like to go on Facebook and post awful memes about things that are happening in other countries to children, or a mother that drowned her 4 children in a bathtub, God forbid. Or Mrs. Jones that, had her son shot. And those people all deserve our love and mercy. But these big fake things that happen, you guys, they don't deserve our attention. They're set up media things to instill fear. And what I was getting at was every gross and awful thing that is done in the world, the trafficking and things like that, the creator can feel. And it's not only those gross, awful things, it's the gross, awful things that you do, which mostly includes lying. You know what I mean? Being untrue, lying to yourself about what your motives are, who you are, whatever. I'm not saying we're all dirty, filthy rag sinners. That's not what I'm here to preach. But what I said was, you can't end the world without at least telling these people that everything that they've ever been sold was somewhat of a lie, or sold the wrong way. That like I said, watch the other videos. From the Hebrew language to current, it's all been broken down and taken away from us. And that's why I sound so crazy, is because it was given back to me by way of memory, and by way of passing away, by way of these visions, things happening to me. Because it's like having a huge wool pulled over your eyes. But if you don't want to believe it for you and your family, I'm going to tell you another reason that I believe it for me and mine. And that is because with all the gematria and all the various numbers that I'm told and stuff like that, these things that are happening, they're reflected in my birth date, my son's birth date. And then I remember being in heaven, and I've said it before on video, that I said that if I could give my life and make the world a truthful, better place and set out to be what the Creator intended it to be in the first place, yes, I would. Why? Like I would. I'm not scared to die. And even before I died, I would say that same thing, because why wouldn't I just give my one soul for all the other souls? I mean, I don't know. It's a lot to think about. I'm sure it's kind of weird for people, and they think, well, I have kids, or I have this, or I have that to think about. But if you trust and believe in your Creator, the fact that you were created by Him, for Him. The word creating makes people think a wide variety of things. You look at a tree and you can see a creation. You look at a leaf and you can see a creation. You look at a baby and you can definitely see a creation. You look at me and hopefully you can see a creation, and definitely see that in yourself. I know that what I'm doing is improving my soul, and by doing that, it's improving the Creator's general soul. My responsibility to improve me improves all of humanity. So by making these videos, sharing these weird ass situations, rambling the way that I do, I don't know, if y'all prefer scripting, you're going to have to go somewhere else. You know, if you just happen to catch this video and no other ones, go watch the other ones to make it make sense for yourself, because the plan, I think some dark things are going to be happening soon, you guys. But part of my job is to forewarn you that when those dark things happen, that you don't have to be scared, but you do have to get to know your Creator, and that the way that it's been sold is not. Even like, say this world like ends in some way, or I'm not here anymore, and you see these videos in a different universe or a different space and joy, I'm not afraid to be this person now. Look at what my shirt says. Live for the present. Okay? That's what I'm trying to do. I can hear you guys, and I'm going to probably go back to doing some investigation videos, but moreover, the whole investigation was created by the Creator to make us investigate. Just like you're supposed to open up your Bible and figure out what's what, you're supposed to open up this investigation. I call it P-Funk Scripture. There is 214 pages available online at Carver County's website in Minnesota. You guys, it only takes a simple glance to see that there are at least 5 or 6 different case numbers. It takes a simple glance to see that some documents look official and that some appear very cut and pasted. The judge's signatures don't match. The dates that the judge's signatures are stamped with or written with and actually crossed out over on top of don't match the reports from the investigators. Things as simple as the description of Prince Rogers Nelson on Hennepin County's report as being 5'4" and 120 pounds, and his driver's license reflecting the alphanumeric R798 blah, 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 which would truly be somebody with the last name Rogers, not Nelson. These things go on and on and on throughout the video, or I mean throughout the file, and you'll be able to see it for yourself. But if you have any recommendations or things that you would like to hear, any general questions, please let me know. I don't care if I'm talking to a ghost town, just like the Brady Bunch went to the ghost town that one time. I don't remember, Arizona. Yeah, because it was where the Grand Canyon was. I could be talking to a ghost town full of people, but I'm doing my duty. I hope and pray. This one's getting long, so I'll cut it off. I rambled a bit, so thank you for watching. I'll try again. Bye, guys. Mwah. Peace out. Peace out. Okay. My mouse isn't working, so.